welcome back to CEO Money. Our next guest coming up on the show is Wade Stoddard, CEO of Mind Fusion VR. They offer an augmented reality aid training system. Pretty exciting, Wade. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Well, you know, the thing that's happening today is VR. Everybody's talking virtual reality, saying that's the future. That's the future of television. That's the future of entertainment, training. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me about your company, Mind Fusion. When did you start Mind Fusion?
So Mind Fusion was actually started this year after I was doing some adventures, some events over there with virtual reality, and then I saw an opportunity in that right now computer-based training is extremely boring. Giving people that opportunity to be immersed in a first-person perspective is immensely powerful. And any listener that hasn't tried VR, I recommend it wholeheartedly to go out there, get on some AR, some VR gear, some goggles, put it on and try it out, because the immersion and the impact is so powerful. It's so much better than what we have now for training.
So kind of an interesting little facet about you. You love tinkering around and working and solving solutions to make people's lives better. What is your background originally?
So my background has been IT for over 22 years. My first computer was purchased instead of my first car, so it gives you a little idea of what I was into when I was younger.
And you could buy a car for the price of a computer back then. It's
you
dropped
could,
a little bit.
Yeah, you could get either or.
Okay, then what got you into the technology business? Why did you see this as being the future? Why would you not? Most kids go buy a car.
Right. I think I was into it as a young kid, as seeing the future of the web was just developing in the early 90s, and it really attracted me to see what the things that you could do with the technology to help improve people's lives, and the connectivity and communication that you could do through IT.
Okay, so obviously VR is great for playing games and kids, and I do see some future there as they solve more and more of the issues with VR. For training, I'm thinking it makes a lot of sense when you can actually, really see all aspects of a scenario that you have to be in training.
Yes, so true. So, for example, the KPMLG, they're putting inside for the pilots or for the attendants and the flight attendants, instead of bringing them to the plane, they bring the plane to them in a training scenario that they put on these head-mounted displays, and they're able to see inside the cabin without having to waste cost of bringing a plane to these flight attendants. And there's several hundred use cases and several industries for being able to train people. What we're focused on right now with Mind Fusion VR is our first niche product out there is for police officer training for shoot or no shoot scenarios. So if you think about it right now, the solution is boring, and it's not giving them the immersive feedback that they need. You put them inside a first-person scenario, and they feel like they're there. And so that captures someone's attention, and it makes them, it's like Mind Fusion VR, the whole name of the company, is VR brings them into that mindset, and they're not going to forget what they're learning. Unlike other type of learning scenarios, you easily forget that. But when it's a first-person perspective and you're able to interact fully, the mind is believing that you're in that scenario.
Now, your business is not even a year old, so you're breaking a lot of new ground here.
Definitely.
How much training are you having to do to teach these executives that this is the future and this will save you money?
It's a new concept for people. They're so used to the old school computer-based or just some videos thrown up on a projector. So this is something, if you're forward-thinking, you look at it, the ability to engage people in a safety scenario. You want people to remember these things. So if the goal of training is for them to learn, then why not provide the best possible way for them to learn? And for me, that is in virtual reality.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and you would think that insurance companies and other businesses that are going to be directly affected by someone that is not trained, that they would be all over this.
Agree wholeheartedly. Yes, it's a growing trend. About they did a survey of individuals that 39% are engaged in VR projects, and in the future, 57% want to do something in the next 3 years. So it's a growing trend quickly.
So do you think the insurance will get behind it and say we're going to demand that this happen?
I think they will. I have heard of some companies that have started their own internal training product where they train people on these videos and VR. If they go to a site, they need to do some type of assessment. It helps to train them before they actually get out there in the field. So that's one application I know they're using in some of these agencies.
So, all right, let me ask you regarding VR and the people that are doing it. Is it a high-cost barrier of entry into how difficult is it?
No, not at all, not at all. So typically corporations could spend anywhere to $3,000 to $5,000 on training for an employee. You can pare that down to even less because you're able to reuse this training scenario for any number of your employees. So the cost per employee goes down in training someone in VR. And the cool thing is that you're able to adapt it quickly on the fly. So you're able to do some type of agile methodology. We're able to have a training. If you want to change it slightly or add something new into it, you're able to go back to your development team and make that change and adapt throughout the year to add a new training platform and scenario for those people.
So if I said, Wade, let's start today, develop me a program for my airline, what kind of turnaround time does it take?
2 to 3 months would be a typical turnaround time for one scenario that you could do. That would be a length of 5 to 10 minutes. If you wanted to have more engagement where it's just not a video, where they're actually interacting with objects, you can actually do that. And that's far more immersive than just the video. Both, I think, are great. But
Perfect.
If you want to go a step further, you can do something where they're using controllers and grabbing objects and interacting with them in real time.
Well, you've been listening to Wade Stoddard, CEO of Mind Fusion VR. Wade, quickly tell me how they can reach you.
Yes, definitely. You can reach me directly on my cell phone, 480-255-8461. We're also on the internet at www.mindfusionvr.com.
Thank you, Wade, for being part of the show.